Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Breaking Cinematic Universes. I, of course, am Trevor, joined as always by Patrick, and in this show, if this is your first time listening, your 14th time listening, or your 6,000 millionth billionth time listening, thanks Grandma, we break down cinematic universes. And you know, Patrick, I thought about something.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, this won't be just comic books. Because if Universal ever gets their head out of their ass, we'll have a monster cinematic universe to talk about.
One day we'll get that dark universe. Get them Frankenstein, Van Helsing. Still waiting for. There's a rumored, or I should say, pre-development. Probably going to be there forever. Jason Momoa and Peter Dinklage Van Helsing movie.
I told you about that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm bringing it up again, so people who did not hear about it, because we had it on the show. Because you'd know about these things if you listened to the show. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, exactly. So we could be talking about all these different universes, and any news in the universes we will bring up. We'll talk about anything that's big, that's important. We're not going to give you clickbait. We're actually going to talk about things that matter, and then also you just kind of gush about things that we think are hilarious.
And that, for me, that's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
especially Nicolas Cage's Superman outfit. But we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
That is going to be a big talking point because, oh boy, was it bad. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor, pause this show. Now, I don't often say pause, or just minimize the show, keep it playing.
Mm-hmm.
But Google Nick Cage Superman. If you've never seen it, it's freaking horrible.
We'll talk about that here in a bit, because that project could have been interesting, could have been amazing. We'll talk about that later.
Patrick,
what?
I'm going to take your nerd card away. Dude, he had long hair.
Yeah, and Superman had long hair and throughout the 90s.
That
makes
long
perfect
of hair?
sense. Yeah, like that long hair. He had a mullet at one point. This is not that bad.
He did not have shoulder length hair.
Yes, he did. I'm gonna send you some pictures now.
No, don't send me the pictures you're not supposed to send me.
Yeah, so he had throughout the 90s, he had hair touching his shoulders. There's even stuff where they were going to be doing Henry Cavill with a hairdo similar to that because of Superman, Superman Lives
Rebirth.
and everything. Yep. And yeah, he had hair. There's some pictures of him. He's longer than his shoulders, longer than my hair's ever been. And
Hold on. I don't need to send me pictures. I have this thing called a laptop in front of me. I'll just Superman long.
Yeah, it's all over. Just Google image search it, dude. The whole 90s, that man had long hair. He had a little bit of a mullet at some points. But anyways, we'll get to that. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and you're Googling that already. So you can see all the long hair Superman. There's an image of him with Wonder Woman, and they have similarly long hair. Hers has a little bit more body to it, but he's got some long hair. Superman has had this before, and it was in line with what was in the comics at the time to do Nicolas Cage with long hair Superman. That suit, by the way, the video in that there's a documentary called "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened." And when you see the video of that suit, it looks a lot better. Not only that, the casting of this was going to be great. It was, one of the scripts was written by Kevin Smith. We were going to have, I think it was Christopher Walken as Brainiac. So yeah, all kinds
Here's
of stuff.
The funny thing. First thing you do, you Google Nick Cage. Let's play every week. We're going to play a little game. I'm going to Google something, and you have to guess the top 5 responses.
Okay.
So I Google Nick Cage, and I see Cage. What are the top 5 responses that come up?
In Google image search or just straight up Google?
Actually, you know what? I did Google image search.
So if you do, I'm assuming if you Google it, you're going to have some
Google image search.
Okay, Google image search. Then you're going to get the infamous picture of him, which the color correction is all terrible. His suit almost looks purple. He looks like he's blinking during it, and you can see his hairline and how terrible it is. Yep. There should also be some. I'm going to guess that there's ones of his rebirth suit that was in the documentary. At least I hope they're in there. So it's all blue. And then you get, I don't know, more of him with long hair, and you probably with real color correction, so you can actually see
Well,
how blue that suit was.
well, what I meant was when you type in Nick Cage in the search bar, like the list that
Oh, Nick.
pre-populates.
So sorry, we're typing out Nick Cage. What?
Nick Cage,
Uh-huh.
and what are the responses underneath that?
Oh, under
I will go ahead and tell you.
meme, pillow.
Did you
I
just
don't know what
Googling
else.
yourself?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But there's the Nicolas Cage "You Don't Say" meme is like a big thing, and then people are putting that on pillows. So I figure that just goes hand in hand. Um, I mean, I'm assuming Superman's on there, and if the internet were up to me, then some reference to Wicker Man's on there, like so Nick
Nope.
Cage bees or Nick Cage
Nope.
bear suit.
Nope.
Okay, never mind then.
So the top 5:
Uh huh.
Nick Cage Superman,
Uh huh.
Nick Cage meme,
Yeah.
Nick Cage face, Nick Cage funny,
Okay.
Nick Cage son.
Okay. Who is Kal-El, by the way? His son is Kal-El.
So that's the top 5. So on this week's show, on episode
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Not bad.
episode 4.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Episode 4, we are going to talk Marvel Disney Plus shows.
Mhm.
And the now, for the most part, officially announced fact that Falcon and the Winter Soldier has been delayed due to COVID. I really, really hate COVID.
Yep.
Just going to
Yep.
say, I was really looking forward to seeing that show.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in August. It's being delayed. I really hope that doesn't mean that it's going to push WandaVision and everything else.
They're saying WandaVision's still good.
I hope so. It does not maybe deal with the comic book cinematic universes. There are a bunch of movies that are finished, they're edited, they're done, they're ready to roll, and they're not being put in theaters because of the limited theaters or theaters being shut down. I think they should go to streaming. The latest one in that, by the way, is the movie Halloween Kills, which was supposed to come out on Halloween, the sequel to the 2018 Halloween movie, and it's being delayed to 2021 Halloween just because they want it to come out on Halloween or around Halloween. So you have a finished movie that's just going to sit there. Come on.
By the way, I'm still looking at the Nick Cage suit.
Right?
I can't do it.
Yeah. Well,
there's not enough liquor in the world to make that suit look good.
I think it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. And like I said, after watching the documentary where they talk, Tim Burton was directing, and then John Peters was producing. My memory, you and I were talking about it right before we started recording. John Peters was producing, and Tim Burton was directing, and they went through multiple writers, and they just kept. It was a complete mess because they thought, okay, Tim Burton had Batman succeed. Let's see what he can do with Superman. And what he was going to do with Superman would have been very different. It definitely would not have been something that comic book fans would have loved because of the transition being so smooth. It was just very different. So, anyways, we'll talk about that later in the show. Let's talk about the Marvel TV shows and the lineup because Falcon and Winter Soldier is delayed. But let's talk about the lineup of that because there's a lot of shows that have been announced, and I think we should kind of go through them and figure out which ones, what we think about them. And some on here are surprising if you've not been keeping up. Some of these are surprising that are coming up by more than likely either next year or 2022.
All right. Well, the biggest one I'm looking forward to is obviously the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't understand why they had to have the word "the" in there 5 times. They couldn't have just called it Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how they are.
There's not another Falcon. We can just go with Falcon. That's why every time I say it, I just say Falcon.
Yeah,
you don't need that many thes.
There's not like an imposter. It doesn't have to be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Come on, Feige. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing we're going to talk about is could Kevin Feige's biggest mistake in the MCU beyond
Hold on, hold on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the TV shows, then we'll talk about the mistake that he may be making. So we talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be first, followed by WandaVision. I think that this is going to stay in that order. I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier will be delayed by maybe a month and a half or 2 months, is my opinion. I don't think they're going to shift the order on this. If they do, that'll be interesting. But
Well,
both of these shows take place after Endgame, so it
no,
doesn't
they
screw
do.
up too much. Yeah.
Here's where I'm confused. So we don't know obviously what they have left to film. We don't know how much they filmed prior to COVID shutting them down, but movies are starting to go back into production.
Yep.
The third Jurassic World movie's has been back in production for a few weeks.
Uncharted with Tom Holland
Oh
and
my
yeah,
God.
yeah, and Marky Mark. Yeah.
Dude, I still can't get over that casting. I don't see him as Sully. I don't.
Who? Mark Wahlberg? No.
Yeah, I don't.
No, me either.
It should have been Stephen Lang.
Yeah, that would have been much better. I know they're going for a younger Sully.
Or even William Hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work. But I know they're going for a younger Sully. So the idea is in, 15 or 20 years, that would have been what we got in the first Uncharted game.
But here's the thing, even in the flashbacks of the Uncharted games, and I've played them all, and I've beat them all. Even in the flashbacks when Nate was a kid, Sully still had gray hair.
That's true. Well, they're probably going to gray up Mark Wahlberg.
And give him a mustache?
Yeah, they're probably. That's going to be. I'm going to laugh so bad if they give him a bad mustache.
You mean like Henry Cavill's?
Yep. I really hope they don't do that.
Mustache shape, 2017.
All right, let's stay on topic. So, WandaVision.
WandaVision's interesting to me because obviously, the Vision was not brought back due to the snap because he never died as part of the snap.
Correct.
He died because of Thanos yanking the Soul Stone out of his head.
And the Soul Stone is destroyed.
Exactly.
So because the Soul Stone is destroyed, or we'd imagine that they were destroyed in the snap that Tony Stark did. I can't remember if that was confirmed.
Weren't destroyed. No, they weren't destroyed.
No, they were given back to the regular timeline. So our timeline does not have the stones, or our universe does not have the stones.
Wait, no, it wasn't the Soul Stone. It wasn't the Soul Stone. Which one was it?
It's the Mind Stone.
Yes, because that's the one that came out of the Tesseract.
Yep.
It's tough to keep track of where all the damn stones came from.
So he can't come back because the power source is gone, but they totally set this up in Infinity War, where Shuri and Bruce Banner were both talking about it, saying like, well, there's a lot other than the stone that's all together. So you have Jarvis, you have Ultron, you have others, Tony, Banner, their personalities, and then the stone. So Shuri was already kind of trying to do like a backup, almost like a backup of a PC before they came in, and all hell broke loose. So I think that we're gonna get a different version of him, obviously. But the question is, what's left over? What's left over without the gem?
Exactly, and will he be the person that Wanda loved without the gem?
And this did happen in the comics, by the way. So not to say they're gonna follow perfectly, because they don't always do that. But this has happened similar in the comics, where it kind of removed a lot of his humanity. So my guess is that's what's happening, and Wanda's coping with that, and coping with the loss of him. And then, quick tangent, in the comics, she has his kids, which does not biologically make sense, but because of her powers, she makes that happen. She bends reality and has his kids. So she's going to bend reality one way or another, and bring her husband back.
No, absolutely. And there's a rumor that Kat Dennings will be making her long-awaited return in WandaVision to the MCU.
Oh, you want to talk rumors? I got a rumor. Well, it's actually confirmed, but the question is, who the heck is he playing? Evan Peters is signed on to be in WandaVision. Evan Peters, Fox's Quicksilver, is signed on to be in WandaVision. For an alleged key role. I don't know if he's going to be who we think he is, or it's going to be something else. But with her reality warping powers, we could bring Fox's Quicksilver into this universe, maybe at least for a TV show. I don't know.
Could be interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
technically, he did have a sister named Wanda in the X-Men universe.
they both. Yeah, he did, and they
Totally
just
different.
changed the fact that they were They weren't twins; they were brother sister. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were raised in America.
Yep, little different, little different. But that goes into the rules that Fox and Marvel had, and thankfully we're beyond that now, where we don't have to worry about that.
Yep, mutants and heroes.
We're actually going to get a new mutants movie. The New Mutants movie finally is going to be coming out soon. So
Yeah,
I don't know if is anybody
be a video on demand release at this point.
Nope. And they kept delaying the release date. The last trailer, they just did another trailer, and it didn't even have a release date attached to it. This movie wrapped. I want to say it was a year and a half or 2 years ago. It was ready to release. It was ready to release in 2019, or like early to mid 2019. And this is before the whole buyout thing. They were just doing a shuffle of when do we come out with this movie, and they've shelved it specifically because Marvel's like, well, I don't know what we're doing with this property. It's done, but what are we actually going to do with New Mutants? It was supposed to be a trilogy. Are we going to do a trilogy, or is it just going to die?
The original release date, was April 13th, 2018.
2018. Okay, that was 2019. Okay, so this thing has so almost 2.5 years before we actually get to see this thing. I mean, yeah, they should have just put this thing on demand. Like as soon as COVID happened, they should have just said, "All right, we'll just throw this thing on demand. Who cares?"
So here's the specs.
Mm-hmm.
The New Mutants is scheduled to be released in the United States August 28th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally set to be released April 13th of 2018 before being delayed to February 22nd, 2019 to avoid Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then to August 2nd, 2019 to avoid Dark Phoenix. I almost think they should have released it against Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, it would have been better.
Excuse my language. Cursing warning. Dark Phoenix was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, so we didn't see it in the theaters.
I didn't either.
Because I heard all about it. I played it here at home, and Whitney made me turn it off. Like I want to say 20 minutes in, she was so upset at like just 20 minutes into it how bad it was. I finished it. It's really bad.
I love your wife to death. I can almost see her going, Patrick, turn this shit off.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she couldn't. That's one of her favorite Marvel characters. Definitely one of her favorite X-Men, if not her favorite.
Why has she never done Phoenix that I know?
She has.
Because I know she's done Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. She hasn't done her in a while, but yeah, she's done Phoenix and Dark Phoenix, and she'll probably bring those back out, when COVID finishes up. But yeah, she used to cosplay as Jean, and yeah, she kind of rage quitted that movie. So back on to other
throwing shit in your house, going, hell with these people.
It was relatively calm. I figured I was kind of prepared for it. I knew it was going to be bad. I mean, it makes Age of Apocalypse look really good in comparison.
I didn't. There were issues I had with Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah,
but all in all, I didn't think it was bad.
I thought it was just a little bit better than X3.
And that's saying something because
I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's not. It's pretty bad. What's not going to be bad is the next one in our line of TV of Disney Plus Marvel is Loki, which is supposed to come out in the spring. That's going to be great, and we still don't know a lot about this one. I'm assuming that we're going to get Loki, the Loki who took the Tesseract in Endgame.
I'm assuming that's the same one we're going to get, which to me doesn't have his humanity as much as he did in Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting thing because you remember the Ancient One in Endgame specifically said,
yeah,
you take one out, it creates a whole new timeline.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. And he's one of my favorite characters, especially when Tom Hiddleston plays him. You got to have a Thor cameo in there at some point. You have to, even if it's just a quick cameo.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see him by himself carrying a show.
Yeah.
And so far, Disney with their Disney Plus, they haven't disappointed with their shows. The Mandalorian was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sorry, taking a sip of my beer.
No,
but I'm looking forward to that. So we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we have WandaVision, we have Loki, and then there's
then we have an animated What If.
I can't wait for that.
I was going to say, like, there's a couple animated ones in here I got to bring up, and that's one of them. That's going to be interesting because we're going to get to see, whatever you want to call it, like parallel universes where, things are just a little bit different. Peggy Carter with the super soldier serum, that kind of situation.
Panther as Star-Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how that even adds up, but yeah, I'm digging it.
You heard who the narrator is, right?
No, who's the narrator on that?
It's Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's narrating the whole thing. Commissioner Gordon. I mean Jeffrey Wright. Not that I'm blending universes.
Yeah, we are. But yeah, I didn't realize that he was going to be the Watcher. That's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm a big fan of his since if you guys don't know who he is, if you've seen what's wrong with me, the HBO Westworld. You know him from Westworld, if anything, playing Bernard.
Sorry, I just had a yawn, which is not at all professional on a podcast. But
yeah, man, get with it. Anyway, so now we get into Hawkeye, which
now has a new writer.
Interesting. I still think that long term Disney had to know that they were planning on doing this, because Endgame, Hawkeye should have died. And he didn't. Renner said he wanted out. He said he wanted out the last like 3 movies, and he basically was begging to be killed off in movies, and then they didn't kill him off in Endgame. His character arc is kind of done. You saw him hit his lowest of low. I don't know where we go from here. I mean, personally, I think that both of them could have died, but from an actor's standpoint, I'm surprised he's continuing.
So, Superhero Hype, which is a site I used to look at quite frequently back in the day, recently posted Marvel Studios hires directors for Hawkman. I'm sorry, directors, not writers. Directors for Hawkeye series on Disney Plus. Let's see. I never actually read this. I just posted it on our Facebook. According to the report, Amber Finlayson and Katie Elwood will co-direct one block of episodes for the upcoming show. The biggest credit to their name is Troop Zero, a dramedy that premiered on Amazon Plus earlier this year. They have also directed episodes of Showtime's Kidding and Hulu's The Great. Okay. Marvel also drafted Rhys Thomas to helm another block of episodes like Bert and Birdie. Like Bert and Birdie. What?
Yeah, Bert and Ernie. I'm not familiar, but at the same time, we've seen what Marvel does when they pick a director. So
he's directed episodes of Saturday Night Live and Documentary Now.
Documentary Now is hilarious.
Both of which have netted him a few Emmy nominations. Most recently, Thomas directed John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch, which arrived on Netflix last December. Although Marvel is making progress on Hawkeye behind the scenes, the casting has moved slowly. It's been almost a year since Haley Steinfeld was reportedly in talks to play Clint Barton's protege, Kate Bishop. However, the studio has yet to make her involvement official. When is ComicCon at home again?
I don't know. They keep delaying them. So, I mean, I'm looking 2021 in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm
Well,
looking
no,
forward to
Comic Con
Hawkeye.
at home, not Comic
Oh,
Con.
Comic
Comic
Con.
Con
Oh, sorry. I
at
thought you.
home.
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't it supposed to be? I thought it was normally in June.
Let's take a look. Comic Con at home is da, 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 da.
Because I know DC fandom is
So July 22nd, 2 days from now, one day
oh,
from now, depending on how you're listening to this. Yeah. So this Wednesday, we got some stuff, but I don't know. It's so disjointed. I mean, they have panels and events that you can watch from home, but I haven't seen a lot of publicity or a lot of coverage on that. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it next week.
no, and um,
So we got more TV shows, by the way, that have been announced that go further into the into sorry, I guess 2022 at this point, maybe.
Marvel DC Plus shows.
Yes, Moon Knight. Oh,
Oh,
sorry, that's not Disney Plus. Sorry, Moon Knight's not Disney Plus.
I thought it was.
No, it's I think it's going to be a web series. If it's oh nope, never mind. It is in DC. It is on that. So you have Moon Knight. Modoc is going to be animated, but I think that's going to be on DC.
They need to have
Sorry, yeah,
Scott
Disney Plus.
Whipple play MODOK.
No. As much as I'd like that, I think what's his face? God, I'm just off my game today. What's the guy's name from from Parks and Rec? And
Ron Swanson.
no, yeah. Give me a second. I might have to edit this. I'm just terrible right now. Yeah. So Patton Oswalt should play MODOK.
I could see that.
That would be amazing.
He wasn't on Parks and Rec, was he?
He was. He's in like 3 episodes, and some of the best episodes, including his rant.
I'm sorry. When you say Parks and Rec,
yeah,
I'm thinking Chris Pratt. I'm thinking of Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
Amy, I'm boring as shit. Polar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman. Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, but he's in quite a few episodes, and he has the best rant ever in his filibuster, where he talks about Thanos, talks about Star Wars, like all colliding. You got a C-3PO, what is it? A cyborg, Chewbacca. I mean, that's one of the best rants ever. One of the best rants ever. So we got a MODOK TV series, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, which I'm pretty sure is going to be animated, and then the one. Yeah, Miss Marvel is going to be animated, and then the one that I'm most excited about is She-Hulk.
They still haven't cast her yet.
They still have not cast She-Hulk.
That one, rumors. Sorry, I'm yawning again for some reason. Sorry, dear God. There is a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
So the Spider-Man 3, the Far From Home sequel, is rumored to have Peter Parker on the run. And there's 2 names that have been brought up as his lawyer. She-Hulk and Daredevil.
Yep, because he has worked with both of them.
Now, Marvel until November does not have the rights to Daredevil.
Yes.
However, the movie doesn't go into production until December, I think.
Correct. Which I thought it was set to release next year. That's going to be a quick turnaround, but
everything's been pushed back.
That's true. That's true.
But that'll be interesting to see who they make as his lawyer. I'd love to see Charlie Cox return as Daredevil in the MCU, as I'd love to see John Bernthal return into the MCU as
he wants to do as well. He's talked about that as well. So he's up for it. It's just a question of what do you keep, what do you throw out? It's an
So
interesting world. Mm-hmm.
now that we're kind of done with the Disney Plus shows,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go into what could potentially be Kevin Feige's first major, and you know what? I've already cursed on this show, so I'm going to go curse one more time.
Yeah.
His first major fuck up of the
Mm-hmm.
MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier or late last week, a rumor came out that Kevin Feige wanted to make Daredevil PG-13.
Yeah.
Kevin, I don't know if you're listening to this show. There's 2 movies, if they're ever made in the MCU, 3 technically with Blade, that cannot be PG-13.
Yeah.
The first one being Daredevil or Deadpool.
Deadpool can't do it.
The second one being The Punisher.
Yep.
The third one being Blade. Those 3 movies cannot be PG-13. They can't. You can't fucking do it. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's going to ruin it. It'll ruin everything.
It's like snipping off one of Ryan Reynolds' nuts.
Yeah, and so I watched the Once Upon a Deadpool PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2. And I'm like, okay, I get what they were doing. There's some funny bits here, but all of the good stuff is removed from that movie in that version. And
I still haven't
it ruined. You haven't seen it?
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great. All the good stuff is taken out. The only good thing is that you got the Fred Savage bits in there. But it doesn't add, it's not funnier. I get that they were trying to have something that, some, tweens, I guess, tweens and teens could watch, that the parents felt like, okay, well, you're a lot, you can watch this, like my nephew's seen it. But at the same time, it's like, but it's a really bad product. And what matters is the product. You do that with Deadpool. If that had come out as the Deadpool movie, as Deadpool 2,
right.
it would have been terrible. It would have been complete crap. And Ryan Reynolds probably would have walked at that point.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
there's no problem. He would have walked.
Yeah.
I keep cursing, whatever.
Yeah, I get what he's trying to do. I totally get what he's trying to do. But yeah, that would completely ruin. That would completely ruin it for everyone.
Dude, you'd be snipping one of Ryan Reynolds' nuts off, basically.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you. There's certain characters that can't be done that way.
Moon Knight.
For some
Moon Knight could not be.
I was going to say Moon Knight's the other one. And for some reason, I was thinking about the Punisher movies, and when they were doing, I want to say it was Punisher or Punisher Warzone. Didn't they have one of those that they were doing that they did PG-13? I'm gonna have to double check that
now.
Yeah, because the first Punisher movie, the Dolph Lundgren movie, was rated R, right?
I believe so.
I mean, come on.
I'm looking now, seeing what the rating was.
Yeah.
Show me the rating.
Punisher was okay. Warzone was good. I don't
rated
personally.
Thomas Jane was rated R.
I was rated R. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So I thought that was rated R. Warzone had to be rated R. I have a feeling maybe it was probably the pre-production stuff where they were talking about like, oh, we should do this as PG-13. Was that one done as PG-13? Because it's terrible. No, that's right. That was in post-production. It was released as R. The studio was going to cut it down to a PG-13 after they finished filming it. They were going to cut it down to a PG-13. And you don't do that. If you want to do that, then you lose all your money. You lose all your viewership, and yeah, you might as well just quit at that point.
I can't even find a rating on this on IMDb. For the Dolph Lundgren one.
Really? I mean, that wasn't straight to video, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
I believe it was.
That's a forgotten gem, which I've got some others that I kind of want to do a separate videos on YouTube about, which are the pre-MCU Marvel movies, like the 1979 Captain America movie and the 1990 Captain America movie. And
I've actually seen that with
the 1990.
Oh God, who was the actor?
And in the 1990 version, it was what's his face?
Yeah, I've actually seen that.
Yeah, Matt
I'm looking
Salinger.
at now. Yes.
Yeah, yep. Um, that's that's the best of the pre MCU movies. But anyways, we'll go off on another tangent there.
What
Um,
what else was he in? I'm sorry, I'm looking up what else he was
Matt
in.
Salinger. Yeah. Um,
His last acting, oh, he's actually got some movies coming up.
yeah.
The Ice
Really.
Road.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see if there's anything actually. He was on House,
Yep. Yep.
Law and Order
He was in
Criminal.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Everybody's been on Law and Order Criminal Intent. Like
Yeah,
that's not
that's
even
true.
a thing anymore.
That's
I'm pretty sure I should be on that show.
true. Yeah. Yeah, that's just yeah. So
He's
I
been in
think
a
he
lot of
was good.
shit.
Mhm,
35
mhm.
credits to his name.
That's not a lot. Come on. I
For an
say that as
actor
someone
who's in a 1990s superhero movie that probably had a made what $1 million.
if
That's a
that.
lot.
If that. I'll have to look up what it made. It made
So bad.
no. No. Okay. It says this can't be right. It said it made $10,000 in the box office. That can't be right.
That's about right. Yeah,
That can't be right. $10 million budget, $10,000 in the box office. That can't be right.
about right. Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of failures, the last bit we want to talk about here, which we talked a little bit about early on in the episode, is the amount of Superman movies that failed to take flight.
I
Huh?
see what you did
Huh?
there.
Yeah. So the first of which was actually and this list has gone around quite a bit, and I'm going to lump some of these together because I feel like they're really the same project. Superman 5, Christopher Reeve was going to return to do another Superman movie,
Okay.
and obviously didn't happen for a lot of reasons, and then he ended up being
Paralyzed.
paralyzed. But yeah, I don't think at that age he wouldn't have been too old, but I feel like it would definitely wouldn't have gelled with the Batman 1989 Batman universe and everything. I
No.
feel like it would have been a flop.
Oh,
Would have been a
absolutely.
complete flop, which is what brings us to Superman Reborn that turned into Superman Lives, um, which is John Peters. I talked about him on last week's show. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up this week. John Peters was the former hairdresser of Barbara Streisand, who then went on to be a movie producer because she was like, "Hey, you're really smart. You really know your stuff. So let's have you start producing things." Um, Most famous for doing what is it? He did the original Star is Born, um, but he also probably most famous, in my opinion, for Wild Wild West and his train wreck of that. He is listed as a producer in a bunch of really good movies. Sorry, New Star is Born. He was listed as a producer in Man of Steel and Ali, and I feel like he didn't have any input on those movies. I feel like he was
Okay,
just
no.
on there because he had the rights and what have you. Um, yeah, so he got the rights, stole the rights, basically bought the rights when DC and Warner didn't realize they didn't have the rights to Superman. He bought it up and was trying to get it to get the project moving. The first version of it didn't do great. The second version is the most famous, which would have had Nicolas Cage as Superman and Christopher Walken as Brainiac, and was going to be directed by Tim Burton.
Hey, I'm Christopher Walken. I'm Brainiac.
I think he would have been great. I mean, come on. He's not human. We know he's not human.
Who, Brainiac or Christopher Walken?
Both.
Fair enough.
Both. But so that by the way, if you haven't seen it already, there's a great documentary called the Death of Superman Lives, where they talk about that, but they don't talk about Batman versus Superman 2002.
Ooh, I know this one. Wolfgang Peterson, director of
Yep.
Das Boot.
Yep.
You can
Exactly.
actually see the poster for that movie in I Am Legend, starring Will Smith.
That's right. That's right. And how weird again, a weird pairing. You get the director of Das Boot to do an Outbreak, to do that. I don't think it would have been bad, but I think all these things were kind of waiting for the Nolan verse.
Who was attached to star in that though?
Ooh, I don't know if they ever cast. I'll have to double check. 'Cause I know that this one was in like pre-production. They've been basically working through Batman versus Superman over like for I want to say 25 years by the time it actually got on there. So let's see. They were trying to cast. Oh no way. Batman and Superman roles of different names that were shown off were Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell, James Franco, Jude Law. Jude Law would do a good Superman. I could see
He
that.
could do a good Bruce Wayne too.
Yeah, he's just really good. Paul Walker was
Christian
thrown in
Bale
there.
met for Superman in that movie.
What? Okay, so a parallel universe where Christian Bale plays Superman. That would have been kind of interesting. um,
Yeah,
and
in 2003, before Bryan Singer's Superman Returns and Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, director Wolfgang Peterson was set to direct Batman vs. Superman, a big budget outing that set two of DC Comics' biggest superheroes against each other. Now, for the first time, MTV News can reveal blah, 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 that the shortlist for Krypton's favorite son was none other than Christian Bale. Peterson, director of such blockbuster fare as Air Force One, Outbreak, The Perfect Storm, and The Never-Ending Story. Never-Ending Story. Sorry.
glad we're not doing karaoke.
Yeah. Fuck you. That's a hard song to fucking sing. Told us that Bale was among the two actors he met with for the role of Superman, with Josh Hartnett being the second candidate. And according to the Helmer, the film nearly happened. It was pretty close, and then the studio got a single Superman script, I think from J.J. Abrams at the time, and Warner Brothers' Alan Horn was so torn because it was such a fascinating concept to do a Batman v Superman film, and I think it would be to do that, but the studio decided to try separate versions of Batman and Superman, and then maybe think about down the road bring them together.
Well, they did a half-ass job of that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Let's introduce one character and then screw it. We'll just go all in.
The Abram project wound up being attached to director Brett Ratner, and the project moved far enough along to audition actors. Brendan Fraser told MTV News that he was among those who suited up in the iconic costume for a screen test.
I miss Brendan Fraser. I'm glad he's back, but yeah, that guy was awesome.
Well, he's in Doom Patrol.
I know. Well, now he doesn't have to pay alimony anymore. So pay his $1 million a year alimony that he had to pay.
Dude, that guy got so screwed in Hollywood.
Yep. His career tanked right after he got divorced. So she got what he theoretically could have been bringing in at the peak of his career. She was getting alimony based on that. Yeah, it's just terrible. Anyways, you brought up the J.J. Abrams Superman though, because that project was Superman Flyby, which again was going to go into like Lex Luthor being like essentially a UFO conspiracy kind of obsessed with like the UFO propaganda or phenomenon, and then which ties perfectly into Kal-El being from another planet. That one just kept morphing and morphing and morphing, and then eventually Bryan Singer came in, and that became Superman Returns.
And that wasn't bad. My only complaint of the entire movie is Superman never threw a punch.
Who did he fight? He threw one person, and then he picked up an island.
Never threw a punch. His kid threw more punches.
Yep.
Than he did.
Speaking of that, the 1979 Captain America, starring Reb Brown. If you don't know who Reb Brown is, amazing B actor movie guy. Captain America throws no punches in that. He shoves a guy once. That's all he does. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. It's terrible. They did a sequel, but it's terrible.
Singer never. I know everybody in the late 90s or early 2000s was super fascinated with Bryan Singer as a director.
Mhm.
Never saw it.
I don't think he's bad. I mean,
He's an asshole. He's a piece of
what
shit.
well, that too. But I will say that what's his name, Zack Snyder. Some people like, or I used to get Zack Snyder and Bryan Singer confused, and because Snyder's considerably better. Um, but yeah, I used to get them confused because they both kind of rose to prominence or became like a buzzword like around the same time, and one of them definitely eclipsed the other. It was the last one we could talk about on here, other than I guess the Man of Steel sequel that we may never see. Is there was going to be a sequel to that Superman movie, Superman Returns sequel, that never happened
Really?
because of yep they were going to do a sequel, didn't they were gonna it was more than likely going to have Brainiac in that and bring Brandon Routh back
I
for
like
Superman.
him as Superman.
I really liked him as Superman. Great
Um,
Superman. Great Superman. I know he was kind of emulating Christopher Reeve in some cases, but great. I thought he was a great Superman.
he was, and I think he played a phenomenal Clark Kent. He was an okay Superman, phenomenal Clark Kent.
Yeah, yeah, because the characters need to be completely different. When you see when, and that's what irritates me about the about Henry Cavill's Clark is okay. He's got glasses, but he's still a hunk. I mean, there's a I mean, if he walks into a room, you're like, oh, that guy's jacked. Like
Mm.
immediately it's like it doesn't make any sense where Christopher Reeve walks in and his posture, which they talk about in the comics, that like his posture, his mannerisms, the way that he talks, everything is different. He is playing a character of Clark Kent, and we didn't get that with Man of Steel. When he walks in as Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, it's he looks almost the same as Superman to me.
Beefcake, beefcake.
Basically, I mean, seriously, yeah, I think that they need to work on that, and maybe they will. I mean, it sounds like Henry Cavill is going to come back. I know they're still discussing that, but I hope that they dive into that a little bit more, and I hope we get Brainiac, or I don't know, something weird like Mixelplick would be cool
Hmm.
for the sequel Superman movie whenever we get it.
I think we should get Superman versus Iron Man. Bring Robert
Uh,
Downey Jr. back.
just to bring Robert Downey Jr. back in. Or we can bring Lobo. Let's just bring Lobo in. Get Danny Trejo
Ooh,
to do it before it becomes too late. Let's get Danny Trejo to play Lobo.
hmm, I could see it. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, had he not been cast as Aquaman, Jason Momoa.
Oh, of course. Now he's Aquaman. We can't do it.
No.
Unless Flashpoint removes him as Aquaman, which I don't think they should do. But if they did that, you can bring him in as Lobo. I don't think. I mean, I think that you could bring him in kind of in the Thanos style CG. And make him different enough, but I feel like Momoa is still going to be playing Jason Momoa as Lobo, so it's not gonna work because as soon as he starts talking, you're gonna think, oh, that's Aquaman or that's Jason Momoa. It needs to be a very different character, very different performance. And Jason Momoa is great, but he plays Jason Momoa. That's his thing, and he's good at it.
Even as Drago, he was
He's
Drago.
himself.
Yeah.
He's himself, and you know what? He gets paid. He gets paid to be Jason Momoa. And when you pay him, when you hire him to do a movie, he gives you what you want. So I can't really complain with it. They put him in. He did exactly what I thought they were going to do with Aquaman, and they thankfully tailored the movie around that performance, and it worked. It worked really well.
It did. And you know, the worst thing is Amber Heard is more than likely out of Aquaman 2.
Yeah, bring in. I'd cast Isla Fisher if she wants to do it because she doesn't have to work ever.
Why is that?
I'd. Uh, she already has tons of money. She's married to Sacha Baron Cohen, and she's an author, so she just does whatever she wants now. Like if she does a movie, it's because she wanted to do the movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
All
I mean, when
right.
you get to that point, why not? I'd bring her in though. I think she'd be a great Mara. But there's a lot of great actresses you could bring in.
Blake Lively.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, bring her in and then have Deadpool make jokes about it. Let's do this.
yes. So, time for shameless self promotion. If you're a sports fan and you like sports, head on over to the scrumsports.com. We cover all the Tampa Bay sports. Patrick, Shameless
That's right.
self-promotion.
That's right. You can check me out at TheLanCave. If you're already subscribed to this podcast, you're already getting our RSS feed. But we also have a Facebook page and a YouTube page. We do video game news, video game reviews. So if you like gaming, go check out that podcast, subscribe to us on YouTube, and yeah, you'll have fun.
Well, that does it for us this week. Thank you for listening to episode 4. This is a labor of love. We love doing it. We love bitching and complaining about superhero movies. And we'll be back next week. Hopefully, I'll still be coherent. This coming weekend is my bachelor party. Patrick, you may end up doing this show solo Monday. If
We might, depending on people's hydration and headaches. So we'll see what happens.
I'm hoping to still be alive after this weekend.
We'll keep you alive. Don't worry. I'll try to.
Yeah, because if I die, your wife and my fiance are going to get together and yell at you. So you don't want that.
That's true.
But guys, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.